It's the most contagious thing on the entire planet. It's more infectious than a viral meme, and more predictable than a Tuesday morning. You're doing it right now, aren't you? Or at least you're thinking about it. Your jaw is beginning to tighten, your lungs are prepping for a deep dive, and there it is. The yawn. We do it when we're tired, we do it when we're bored, and sometimes we do it for absolutely no reason at all. Think about the last time you yawned. Was it because you were stuck in a long meeting? Or maybe you just woke up and were stretching your limbs? It feels like a physical reset button for your face, doesn't it? But here's the weird part. You can't just yawn on command and have it feel right. Try it now. Just open your mouth and mimic the motion. It feels fake, doesn't it? That's because a true yawn is an involuntary respiratory reflex. It is a total takeover of your nervous system. Even fetuses in the womb have been seen yawning on ultrasounds as early as the second trimester. If it's not about breathing air, why on earth are we doing it before we're even born? Despite being something every human has done since the beginning of time, science is still debating exactly why it happens. Is it a lack of oxygen? Is it your brain's way of saying go to bed? Or is it a primitive social Wi-Fi signal? Today, we're cracking open the mystery of the yawn. Before we get into the heavy science, let's address the biggest myth out there. For decades, the most popular theory was the oxygen theory. The idea was simple: your body isn't getting enough oxygen. In 1987, a psychologist named Robert Provine decided to actually test this. He gave volunteers pure oxygen to breathe. Guess what? They still yawned. Then he gave them air with high levels of CO2. They didn't yawn at all. They just started breathing faster. The oxygen theory was officially debunked. So, if it's not about breathing, what is it? Why does a professional athlete yawn right before a big race? Why does a dog yawn when it's stressed? The leading modern theory is something called brain thermoregulation. Think of your brain like a high-end gaming laptop. When it's working hard, it generates heat. But even a tiny spike can make you feel sluggish, less alert, or even confused. First, you have the stretch. When you yawn, you powerfully stretch your jaw. This increases blood flow to the skull and the face. Then you have the cool down. That big intake of air cools the blood vessels in your nasal and oral cavities. Finally, that newly cooled blood travels straight to the brain, acting like a built-in coolant system. The yawn is a last-ditch effort by your body to reboot the system and keep you alert for just a little bit longer. Interestingly, people yawn less in extreme heat. If the air is 100 degrees, sucking it in won't cool your brain, it'll cook it. But what about the contagious part? This is linked to something called the mirror neuron system. Research shows that the more empathetic a person is, the more likely they are to catch a yawn. It's the same part of the brain that makes you wince when you see someone else stub their toe. Babies don't actually catch yawns. They don't start catching them until they are about 4 or 5 years old. You are also more likely to catch a yawn from a best friend or a family member than from a complete stranger. Evolution doesn't keep traits around for millions of years unless they serve a purpose. In the wild, yawning is a state change signal. When the alpha male yawns, it's a signal to the rest of the pride that it's time to move from resting to hunting. In humans, paratroopers often yawn right before they jump out of a plane. Their bodies are under extreme stress. Fish yawn to clear their gills. Snakes yawn to realign their jaws. Penguins yawn as part of their courtship ritual. Back in our caveman days, if one member of the tribe yawned, it signaled, "Hey, I'm getting tired. We all need to stay alert for predators." So the next time you yawn in a meeting, just tell your boss you're performing a sophisticated thermoregulatory procedure. And keep an eye on them. If they yawn back, congratulations. You've just hacked their brain.